Jeremy Lorenowicz.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us on the Rice Pudding Project.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Now, I'm not going to lie. I don't know exactly what it is you do, besides being a cool father, jiu-jitsu guy, and that stuff. I know you're into do with oil. So in my mind, you just like have oil money. So I just think Dallas. Like you are basically like the J.R. Ewing in my mind, just without the hat. And you do jiu-jitsu. But for the audience at home, and for me, can you explain what it is you do for a living?
So I'm involved on the directional drilling side of oil and gas. So we manufacture the MWD tools, the measurement while drilling. So it's basically the GPS below ground that's telling you where to go and how you drill these horizontal or S-shaped wells below the ground.
Oh, you don't just go straight down?
No, we can go straight horizontal and fire out a couple kilometers, a few thousand meters.
Really?
Yeah.
So you like go down and just like go right and so steal oil from like the next guy's hand.
You could basically, yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. Not the stealing part. Stealing is bad. Stealing is bad if they get you. No. All right. So we met because we have a bit of a similar journey.
Yeah.
I think you have lost more weight than me though, because you were bigger. So you were 200 and...
I think I was around 200 kg. I don't really know where I was because my scale, when I stepped on it, stopped at 365 pounds and went ... So where it actually went above that, I never went to find out. But it probably took me 6 months of working out and doing the F45 before I even saw the 365.
You're joking. So that's how you started. You started doing F45.
Yeah.
That's high impact, no?
It's like, it wasn't too bad actually. It was pretty good. I recommend it for starting out because you can go as hard as you want or as light as you want, and you can't go in there and you can't slack it though either. It's like a 45-minute sweaty workout.
Right. And how much have you lost? So like, what are you now?
Now I'm 109.
109. So a good 90 kilos, 20 kilos.
A whole person.
That's like 200 pounds, no?
Yeah, getting close, yeah.
That's like a running back.
Yeah.
All right, that is super impressive, man. As for someone who knows, I done 75 and that's impressive. Were you always big?
No, I wasn't. I was quite fit in high school and after school, and then it just...
You played sports in school?
Yeah, I played American football, and I was a long-distance runner, cross-country runner.
Okay, so you were small. I mean, you were slim.
I was in good shape, yeah. I was never over 200 pounds, and...
Wow.
Then after, I just, living on your own, drinking, partying, single, bachelor,
college life,
eating McDonald's and everything bad, and drinking 5-6 Dr. Peppers a day, it gradually went on. And the thing is, I think I was really delusional about it because I always wore a size 38 waist because I never pulled the pants above the gut.
You're like a hip-hop guy. You had
I'm like, oh, my pants aren't getting any bigger, so I can't be that big. But it was when I went on with my son to IMG World, and I went to go on the roller coaster, and they couldn't close the roller coaster, and I had to get off in front of everyone. And I was like, ooh, you got a problem.
How old was he?
It was like 4 years ago.
Damn.
3, 4.
So that's what was the wake-up call?
That was the wake-up call.
So all that time, you never realized how big you were?
I knew I was big, but I think I was just delusional about how big I was, because I think when you're 6'4", you can... kind of get away with hiding it. You can put on a hoodie, you can put on some things, and you can hide the weight a bit better than someone that's 5'8".
Yeah. Then the thing is, what I noticed was that first of all, I don't know about you, but subconsciously you avoid mirrors and photographs. I always ended up going to the back of the photos, so people were always in front of me, so no one could really see.
Yeah. And
then when your point of view is just your hands, so you never really see how big you are, and then you see the odd photo, you're like, oh, I was like, what the
And I never wore anything but black, and I still have a bad habit of wearing black
because
now.
You want everything to be, and then you see, and you're like, oh no, the lighting must be bad in that photograph. I'm not that big, like, and then you realize, you are, big. So the roller coaster ride was a wake-up call.
Yeah.
Did your wife say anything to you, try...
Yeah, she always tried to get me motivated to go to the gym and stuff, but she was pretty respectful. She never like, hey, you're a fat bastard.
Yeah, because the thing is, it's hard for someone, like with my wife as well, it's hard because you can only push so much because it becomes a problem, and then, So what was your go-to cheat meal? I would say cheat meal. What was your go-to, like,
like cheat meal? Like probably Hawaiian pizza.
Hawaiian pizza.
Yeah.
All right.
Still to this day, it probably is. That or P.F. Chang's.
And then, so you started doing F45, what, 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Lost like 35 kilos, 40 kilos, something like that?
I probably lost like 50 of it there.
Okay, wow. All right.
And then I came into jiu-jitsu and I probably lost the last 35 to
What got you into jiu-jitsu?
Well, first, I always loved jiu-jitsu, and my friends tried getting me to do it back in Canada. And I have a friend that's like a 6th-degree black belt back there, and they tried to get me to come forever, but I was more interested in going out and drinking than I was doing any more sports or anything. So I never did. But I wanted my son in it, and I wanted my daughter in it. Yeah. So I got my son into it when he was 7, and then my daughter into it when she was like 5. Then my wife went and joined it, and then I was kind of like the odd man out.
She started before you? Or?
Yeah, she even started before me, and she was like getting a few stripes. I'm like, man, she's going to have her blue belt, and I haven't even started.
She's a blue belt now?
Yeah.
She got it before you as well?
Yeah, she did. So
I only laugh because my wife's like a 50-degree black belt in karate, so it's like I'm never catching her. It's but when you were big, did you not have like, how did it make? I mean, like, let's be honest, like, how did it make you feel? Depressed or anything? Like,
I wasn't never depressed, but I don't know. I just was delusional just how big I was, and like I didn't have to get the extra seatbelt on the plane or any of those things. So I was
like you managed to avoid that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I couldn't put the table down on my legs. Like my thighs would just be like the table would be like at an angle.
Yeah.
And you'd be like pushing it down, or and it would really. So you weren't like you didn't feel the health issues or anything?
No, because then when I'd go every year to get my health check, like there was no diabetes scare, there was no this and that, but it was just like.
Wow.
And they'd ask me to stand on the scale, and I'd just tell them my weight. I would get on it because I didn't want to know.
And the doctor didn't tell you, like, you need to be careful, your high blood pressure, nothing like that?
No, I never had anything come back irregular, which was crazy.
That's lucky. Because mine was like, hey, you could be diabetic. You could, your cholesterol's high, but not too high. But if you're not careful, it's going to go this. Your blood pressure is high. So I had all the telltale signs. So then you said you grew up in Canada, right?
Yeah.
How was that growing up in Canada?
Good. I grew up on a farm just outside of a small town called Okotoks in Alberta, out near the mountains.
Okotoks.
Yeah.
Okay, I've never heard of Okotoks.
Yeah. So I was a farm boy. We had cows, we had horses, we had everything.
You worked the farm and stuff?
Yeah, I helped out around there. It was never my thing. Like my brothers quite enjoyed it, but yeah, I'd help out. I'd go feed the horses, go feed the cows, but I was ready when it was time to get out of there. I was gone to the city.
Okay, and then where was the city? You went to Alberta or you went to Toronto?
Yeah, Calgary.
Calgary.
Yeah.
Okay. And then from there, like, when did you go there for university?
Yeah, I went there I went out to work the oil rigs, and then I worked out the oil rigs for some years, and then I wanted those company man jobs, the high-paying jobs that were down there, like, oh, you got to go to school. So I came back, refinished my high school, got better grades, went and did my petroleum engineering, and then did a major in business and a minor in economics.
Oh, wow. So you went back to...
Yeah.
Okay. What was it like working on an oil rig?
Yeah, it's good. It's, it has its ups and downs. You're in minus 50, so I've seen both spectrums where it's plus 50, minus 50. You get some
minus 50.
Yeah, you get some cold winters in Canada. Up in the Northwest Territories.
I mean, I imagine like oil rigs like Armageddon, where they're like, not when they're on the rock, but when he's there, you know what I mean? When they're like there and they're like trying to, and then the oil is like, they hit oil and it just like fires out. This is all BS, right? It doesn't work like that.
Sometimes it can. You can take a kick and it can fire out, for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
And you're like, oil is like pouring on top of you guys?
So that's worst case scenario. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but it does.
Because they're all happy when that happens. They're all celebrating. Like,
yeah, they're not happy when it happens in real life.
Wow, okay. What transitioned you away from, like, when did you get married, actually?
I got married in 2010. We had Landon in 2008, so we kind of did it a bit backwards.
Okay. All right. Where'd you meet your wife?
In Calgary.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's in the oil business as well?
No, she worked at the hospital in the city there, and she moved out from Toronto, Ontario area, like in 98 when she was 18, and we were friends, and I told her for probably 6-7 years that eventually one day she was going to date me, and she said no forever, but I'm pretty persistent.
What was the trigger for her to finally say yes?
I don't know.
She caved?
Yeah, I don't know what it was. It was probably just my persistence, and finally saw that I was growing up a little bit and not partying as much and actually dateable.
Okay. All right. Nice. So, I mean, I'm still bad. Like, when I was overweight, I was struggling big time with like depression and stuff, always. Like, you seem, and I know you for being a positive guy. What makes you kind of like, let's not say delusional, as you were saying, but like, what makes you stay positive? And
I don't know. For sure now it's my kid.
okay.
And since having my son, like that was the best thing that could ever happen to me. And then my daughter was a blessing on top of it. But definitely having my son set me on a straight and narrow path. I had something else to care for besides myself. And
He is very like focused on what he wants.
yeah, I wish I had half the discipline he does.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where does he get that from?
I don't know.
I've seen him.
I think
at
it's a
meals.
bit of OCD and a lot of discipline.
No sugar, no fat. Like, he's like eats clean, trains hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, very respectful.
Dedicated.
Yeah.
Just he knows what he wants and he's going after it.
Yeah, he's. It was very embarrassing rolling with him the other day. Yeah, and because you make a joke with everyone like, listen, I'm older than you. You should be respectful. I'm old enough to be your dad. And then he had me in that choke, and then I was like fighting it, and then I got out of it, and I was like, oh, I got out of it. I was like, I got out that bit too easy. So afterwards, I asked him, I was like, what happened there? He's like, I let you out. I'm like, why? He says, you told me to take it easy.
Yeah.
It just like crushed my soul.
Try being the dad on your 45th birthday when you roll with your son and he chokes you out a few times.
Oh, you just
16-year-old kids aren't supposed to be able to beat up their dads.
you
Yeah.
just withhold the allowance.
Yeah.
And you're like, remember that?
Financially, you're cut off.
Yeah, no credit cards. Done. When you were growing up, what was like your biggest dream on the farm? To get off the farm, or what did you want to do?
Yeah, I just wanted to go out and see the world. I was always a bit of a gypsy and wanted to travel and to leave. And that's why when I found a job overseas that paid less than I was actually making in Canada, I talked to my wife. I'm like, let's go do it. I want to take a chance. And
she was okay with that?
It took a bunch of convincing and that. And
But you're persistent.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Where was your first job overseas?
In Turkey.
In Turkey?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we went there for 3 years before we came here.
Okay. All right. Very nice. And have you traveled a lot?
Now I think I'm at 77 countries. I want to do 100 before 50.
Damn. Well, if you go to Europe, you can kind of get like a bunch of those done. Have you done most of Europe?
I've done most of Europe and most of Asia.
All right. Where do you want to? What's on your bucket list that you haven't been to?
For sure, a lot of South America. I want to do Argentina and Brazil, and the biggest on my bucket list would probably be Antarctica.
Really?
Yeah, I want to go down there and do those
like
Galapagos
cold, huh?
Islands, Easter Island, go down there. I just want to see it. No one ever does it.
I don't think Emirates flies to Antarctica.
No. There's a cruise that you can do, though.
So you fly into like what, Argentina?
Into Argentina, you get on a cruise, you go to the Falkland Islands, then to Antarctica, Easter Island, and end in Chile.
Wow. Okay. I mean, Brazil, you gotta go for jiu-jitsu.
Go with the Brasileiros.
Yeah. Good luck, no way. And then Argentina, I would love to go to Patagonia.
Yeah.
I'd love to go there. That's pretty cool. All right. And so what are your dreams now then, besides the 100?
Man, honestly would just like to retire not too old and be able to travel while I'm still healthy and,
What's not too old?
I don't know, I'd say 55.
You want to retire by 55? You'll be retired before then, no?
No, I think I still got 7 years of my daughter here going to school, so
How's your daughter?
11 just turned.
So you got to persuade all your kids to become entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
University, overrated. Entrepreneurs, it's the way to go.
Yeah.
I mean, your son's the MMA fighter, so, that's going to be expensive. Probably more expensive than university.
Probably.
The camps and stuff.
He wants to go to, I think, California to Atos or to AOJ and train there.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell him to go to university instead. It's cheaper for you. So we grew up kind of the same time, 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
What was if you think about your childhood, what was your most nostalgic TV show and stuff that you would watch that you remember back then that you were into, if you were?
Oh, probably. If it's a cartoon-wise, it'd have to be like Transformers and Thundercats.
Man, Thundercats. Who's your favorite?
Panthro.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm just surprised they haven't made a movie. What TV shows did you like?
Dukes of Hazzards. MASH. I was even into MASH and Cheers.
Yeah, MASH was amazing.
And then Seventh Heaven or something, you know, Jessica Biel was on there. So.
Never seen that one. I would have watched it, but I'm a big fan of Jessica Biel. She's very good at this.
I don't remember what the show was about. I just remember Jessica Biel was on it.
So you love to travel.
Yeah.
What else do you love to do besides jiu-jitsu? What's your like hobbies and chill out things?
Well, I gave up drinking a few years ago now, well, 2.5 years ago.
Nothing?
Nothing. And for no reason. I just woke up one day, I had a hangover. I said, I'm done drinking. My wife said, I've heard that before. I'm like, you'll see.
Does your wife drink?
She has the odd drink. She was never a big drinker, but like if she's out at a brunch, she'll have a drink, but I won't have anything anymore.
At all?
No. I just got sick of the hangover one day, and I can go out and have fun. I can stay out till 2 o'clock in the morning. I just don't need to drink.
There's not like a glass of wine or anything like that?
I had one glass of wine when we were in Italy at this nice restaurant, and I think I drank half of it, but,
Really?
you know, I didn't go full Mormon or something, you know, but if it's there or somebody's like, please have a sip of this wine, of course I'll try it. It's no problem.
But don't you feel like now it's like the pressure, like everyone's getting used to drink. Why don't you drink? Why don't you drink? Why? Like I always get pushed into drinking or trying to drink. So I just tell them, I don't drink and drive. I drove, you know?
I think they did. Like for 6 months or so, there was like, hey, come out, let's go out and do this. But I think everyone just knows he's not going to drink now.
Okay. All right.
Not that I'll never, ever drink again. And who knows, maybe I will get drunk again one day, but I just don't have any plans to do it.
Gotcha. All right. But what else do you like to do?
Man, just anything with the family. You know, it's a lot of traveling with the family. We have a holiday booked for New Year's to go skiing. And
New Year's already?
Yeah, we already booked it in Switzerland.
Okay.
So we'll go there New Year's. And we went last year to Bulgaria skiing and, you know, so just family trips, that stuff, spending time with each other. It's going too fast, man. My son's 16. I've only got 2 summers left with him.
After all, they don't want to, no, they want to do their own thing. They start meeting girls, and then it's like...
Even now, he spends most of his time in his room. You know, the only time I get with him is when he's stuck in a hotel room with me, or we're like traveling, and then we get quality time together.
In your work, when you, like, because that must have been stressful, right? Like, drilling for oil. What were some of the lessons you learned, best lessons you learned in your work to deal with the stress?
Well, getting into the position that I'm in was just, man, throw yourself to the wolves. Just say you can do it and just figure it out. Learn the hard way. I thrive on stress. I thrive on learning the hard way. And, you know, even when I knew I couldn't do a job, I said I could do it, and I would learn it on the fly and figure it out.
I get that, you know, fake it till you make it kind of thing. But when you're like drilling and heavy equipment, and isn't that a little bit risky?
Yeah, well, back then you started, like when I started out drilling, you started out as a rustabout or a lease hand and then go to a roughneck, motor hand. And I only got up to a motor hand. I didn't get up to being the actual driller.
What's a roughneck and a motor hand?
So they're the guys that do kind of like the labor work on the rig. You know, you start out as a lease hand and you just do the basic stuff, changing oils, scrubbing stuff, keeping it clean. And then a roughneck goes up and you have a set of tongs and you make the connections of each drill pipe. Then the motor hand takes care of the engines or whatever. And then the derrick hand is the guy who goes up the stick and pulls the pipe back and takes care of the pumps. And then you got the driller. Yeah. Well, you climb up, or there's a ladder, and you got safety harness.
To go up, that's still high.
Especially at minus 50, it's a little chilly up there in the winter. When you could be up there for 8 or 9 hours pulling pipe.
You're joking.
12-hour shifts. You could be up there full shift pulling pipe.
Wait a minute. You're outside doing all this stuff and for 8 to 12 hours?
You do 12-hour shifts, 2 12-hour shifts.
But not outside. Like you come in the warmth and stuff.
No, it's outside to the elements. You have some things that block the wind and that stuff, but it's all outside.
I don't give a shit. The only thing that's blocking the minus 50 degrees is a room with a heater. Shit. So you started like at the bottom.
At the very bottom.
And then you own your company, or you owned your company.
I owned part of the company that we just sold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was that? Because that's not an easy thing to do.
So I went from there to becoming an MWD hand.
What's that, MWD? It sounds like
the measurement while drilling, the guys that run the tools that I now sell and was manufacturing.
Okay.
And then I went to Turkey and I took a position as an MWD coordinator, which was like the boss of the MWD hands. Then I moved up within a month to the general manager of the directional division there.
Yeah.
And I was there for 3 years and did that. And then I bought these guys that I now work for as tools as that company. And I really liked them. And they were like, oh, we want to set up in the Eastern Hemisphere. And I was like, oh, where is it? They're like, oh, we're thinking Dubai. My wife's like, take that job. So I was like, if you haven't hired anyone for it, I said, I'll throw my hat in there. Like, oh, if you want it, it's yours.
What do you mean you bought the tools?
So as the company over there, because you need to buy tools for your company, each company has their own directional tools. So we bought off this manufacturer.
Yeah.
So when I came over here to Dubai, I came over and started everything up for them. So I put it in my name. I used my own credit card, started everything up. The entity over here was all in my name.
Risky, no?
Yeah, it was definitely a risk.
Why take the risk?
Big risks, big rewards.
Big failures also for sometimes.
It can be.
You don't get scared?
No, it just felt right. I just felt I was where I was supposed to be. I came and visited Dubai probably 4 years before that, and I was like, I'm going to live here one day. And then all of a sudden I had that job opportunity for that, and then ended up here, and I felt like it was all going to work out.
But you could have got a job in Dubai where you wanted to be without having to go to that sort of like extreme of risk of like buying everything, putting it under you, like, because if it fails, I mean, that bankrupts, you know?
Yeah. For sure.
And you're cool with that? Or you were okay with that?
I guess it was risky at the time, but yeah, I was also okay with it. There was also other partners involved that were backing. So, you know, like, I don't feel the risk was that high. It was definitely there, and it was definitely there, you know, if we didn't get sales in the first few years or whatever, but that all pulled through and worked out.
Who was your role model growing up? Because it must have had an effect on how you think about things.
I don't know if I really had a role model, but I looked up to my grandparents a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did they used to do?
My grandpa was the chief of the fire department, and my grandma was a housewife, but
okay,
she was one of the best people you'd ever meet.
But then why, like, because that philosophy of like big risk, big reward, like taking those kind of risks, it's not something you just come up with.
No, but I come from a broken family. My mom's been married 3 times. My dad's been married 3 times. We grew up quite poor before my mom's current husband that we ended up on the farm with and stuff. So I think it's just, I've been very determined and stubborn and passionate, and I go after what I want.
Okay. So you grew up with your mum, not with your dad?
Yeah.
And a good relationship with your stepdads?
Good relationship with my dad and my stepdad, yes. My mom, no.
You want to touch on that?
Yeah, she's just, there's good people in the world, and there's people that just aren't good people, and she's just on that scale, so.
And you're okay with that?
I'm okay with it, yeah.
See, that's what's impressing me about you, is like, it doesn't faze you. Like, you're just like, okay,
you
it's
can't
fine.
change things, though. You know, it is what it is. You either deal with it and move on. Like, why hold it in? I have kids. I want to give them a better life. If I dwell and go into a depression, how is that going to help my children? You know, so you just mentally get over it, check it out. It is what it is. Can't change anything.
But you had your kids, you know, you had your kids when you were 29, right? For
Landon was 28, yeah.
Yeah. So you've lived 20, I mean, like, you know, you would have had issues with your mom before that. So
my issues with my mom was probably started like around my 27, 28 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then it was, okay. All right. But they say, you know, daughters marry their dads, sons marry their mothers. How did you avoid, or did you marry your mother?
No, I definitely didn't.
How'd you avoid that?
I don't know. Maybe I married somebody more like my grandma, you know, somebody
That's cool. Did your wife meet your grandma?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So they connected their thing.
Yeah.
This is your dad's side or your mom's
My
side?
mom's side.
Your mom's side.
Yeah.
Okay. What was grandma like?
Man, she was just there. She was the head of the family, you know. She was the one, every Sunday she cooked dinners. Every Christmas was at grandma's house.
Nice. What was her dish that she would make for everyone?
Oh, like the turkey, the ham, the lemon meringue pies, just everything. And grandma never said no. You know, you could go ask grandma for anything.
Oh, okay. All right. So she was the boss.
Mm-hmm.
Even
to Papa, even to Grandpa, yeah.
How was granddad?
He was good. But I eventually learned that, you never ask him because you always ask grandma, that you could surprise him and go ask him and he wouldn't know what to say. So he would just say yes because he was just surprised he was getting asked.
And no matter how tough you are, the women always run the household. Yeah, I think that goes all over the world. Oh, cool. When did they pass?
My grandma, I think, is 9 years now. My grandpa probably 7.
Okay, cool. So Landon and your daughter saw them as well.
Yeah, they both.
Oh, that's cool. So everything changed for you on that roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
And then your wife told you, take the job in Dubai. Oh, good advice. Any other moments where you think where things like happened for you, where things changed? Where you had inspiration to go after it?
I don't know. I remember somebody told me once that, I don't know how they phrased it, whether it was like, God never promised it'd be easy, but he promised it'd be worth it. So, I kind of take that, yeah, it gets tough, but it's going to be worth it in the end.
What's been your most memorable experience in your profession? Please tell me it was when oil struck and it flew into the sky, because I really want that visual. Just like, I love that. But if not, something else.
I don't know. Like, it probably would just be, for me, leaving Canada and going to Turkey and just taking that chance and moving to a whole another country to start drilling for oil and gas in a whole different country, and seeing that landscape and the change of language and the change of everything that happened there.
Okay, whereabouts in Turkey was it?
We worked all over Turkey, from like southern Turkey to the European side of Turkey. So there was gas on the one side, and then down near Iraq and Syria. And
is the gas more volatile than the oil, or like?
It's all the same drilling.
But
it's just different formations.
But is there a chance of it like explosions and stuff, or not really?
Not really.
Okay, so it's not like there's like something can trigger.
No, you need to worry about sour gas in some places, and that's why there's masks and stuff and H2S that can come up and that can kill you.
A what?
H2S, sour gas basically, and it can come up out of the ground, and that's why they have a lot of packs on the guys. Usually in Canada, you have to be clean shaven so that you can put the face mask on.
Obviously, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I know all this stuff. But for the people at home, what is sour gas and H2S?
Sour gas is like just methane gas that comes out of the ground that is poisonous, basically, and if you breathe it in, you can drop dead from it.
Really?
Yeah.
See, my education, not as good as yours. I didn't go back to school because I messed around the first time. But I thought methane gas was like farting and stuff. Not really. Like, isn't that?
I think it's like that, but on another level.
That's some serious.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So how does it kill you? You just breathe it in and.
Just breathe it in. Yeah, it's poisonous gas. That's why there's courses, H2S Alive courses that you take, so you know how to put on the Scott packs and, the positive pressure air from the packs, so you get a good seal. And
is it like a total recall kind of thing where your eyes like, or like?
I don't think it's that bad. I think it's just kind of like carbon monoxide type poisoning.
Oh, so just like you stop breathing and that's it.
I've actually been lucky where we've never had to mask up on any of the rigs I've been on, but we've had the H2S monitors go off.
It's like but then if it's like it's an outdoor space, right? So then what kind of vicinity is it?
Like you could be like down in the cellar where like it is closed in, and all the BOP stacks that the pipe goes into that you start drilling it, those could be leaking, and that's a closed off area in there, and like gas could be coming out there and trapped in there. And
okay, but it's not just if you breathe in, right? That doesn't affect your skin or anything. Yeah. Okay, not like your skin boils and stuff. I'm just trying to make it more graphical and stuff. And what was your most memorable non-professional experience?
Birth of my son and daughter.
Were you there for them?
Yes.
Both?
Yep. Cut the umbilical cords.
Both times?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I saw my son being born. It's
I got in shit from the doctor.
What? What'd you do?
She was grabbing my son's head and helping pull, and I was like, easy. She's like, I think I know how to do my job. I was like, sorry.
Yeah. Natural birth?
Yeah. Both, and I think my wife was in labor for maybe a maximum of 4 hours for both.
See, now, if we talk about humbling,
oh yeah,
you need to watch childbirth. Any man needs to watch childbirth, just to realize how
how much better we got it.
Yeah. I was going to say how useless we are.
Yeah.
But yeah, how much better we got it, because that is something just,
Yeah.
that's insane.
Oh, yeah. It was an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
You're like happy, sad, crying, and then you just hear that first scream.
And you're trying yeah, I recorded just the audio of my son when he was born and the cries. And like halfway through it, my wife was like, she was breathing and pushing, and she calls me forward. I'm like, yes, got the ice chips. What can I do? How can I help you? And she's like, can you go brush your teeth? I was like, brush my teeth? She's like, yeah, I'm talking, she's in the middle of contractions.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? She said, because the coffee smell from your breath is making me nauseous. It's like, yeah. So I'm there brushing my teeth, and she's just pushing away, and I'm absolutely useless. Like I didn't need to be there and she handled it all by herself. Mm-hmm. And then you see this kid come out, and he's like, from you?
We made this?
This we did. It's like, we're pregnant. I'm like, I love it. Like, oh, we're pregnant, and we are? No, she was pregnant. I did something a little while ago, but like nothing compares to, wowzers. You want any more kids?
I would have had more, but my wife said baby factory closed. I don't know. The older I'm getting, the more I'm liking, but I'll look forward to that next stage. I can't wait to be a grandparent one day. Not that I'm pressuring my son to go and have kids right away, but when he's ready and when my daughter's ready, I look forward to it.
Okay, yeah, you'll be a cool granddad. We have a tradition here.
Yeah.
We have wildcard questions. So in these cans, there is a question.
Okay.
So let me know which one you would like. I will take out the question and read it to you, and then you can choose to answer it or do 100 burpees.
Ooh, bottom middle one.
Of course, bottom middle one. It's just like we're drilling for oil. Yeah, there we go. All right.
It's the most difficult.
Yeah. There you go. Let's see what this one. Maybe the most difficult one is the easiest question. If you didn't have to make money to do what you love, what would you do?
Just be a full-time dad.
Full-time dad?
Man, I could just do I know my wife probably would argue with me, but I could do the school drop-offs, the running around, the pickups.
Yeah, it sounds like it is a kind of a dream, because you do the school drop-offs, then you go to the gym, do some jiu-jitsu, pick them up.
Not saying it's easy. I'm definitely not saying that. The whole cooking, cleaning, everything else that comes along with it, yeah, maybe not. But
why don't you do that? Be a full-time dad.
Because I have to be the one out working. I'm the one with the job here, and we want to stay here. So
fair enough. Until your son becomes a UFC world champion.
Yeah, then he can take care of me.
I like that. Would you be in his corner?
I hope so.
It doesn't scare you?
No.
What scares you?
Having one of my children pass away before I do. Probably my worst fear. I've seen some of parents go through that, and it's nothing I ever want to experience.
Yeah, no parent should have to go through that. Yeah. Fuck. That was you could have just said roller coaster or something. Listen, Jeremy, it's been great. It's great knowing you. It's great having you on the show.
Cheers.
And great competing with you. So hopefully I lose weight and we won't compete together again.
You plan to get to 94?
I'm trying as hard as I can.
I want to get to 99 for a day so I can go skydiving, but I don't mind.
You want to skydive?
Yeah.
Well, you just don't give a shit, though. You just throw caution to the wind.
Yeah, I just want to go do it once, and I'm happy to sit at the 103, 104, 105 range, but...
Yeah, 6'4", you're good. That's a great weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at 6'1", yeah, it's not. I need to be less. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.